Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. AG code 0608, suspended for 3 years, effective 10/24/14. Excused from tonight, Jim Dorwan. And all the other correspondence is there. If you want to read it, it's up here for you to look at later. We'll move on to the topic of the night, CON Committee.
CON Committee held a hearing at 5 o'clock here this afternoon in the matter of application to the Town of Bethlehem Ambulance Service for a permanent operating certificate. Following the hearing, the CON Committee met and bring forth a seconded motion that we accept the recommendation of the hearing officer. That is that the application made by the Town of Bethlehem Ambulance Service to convert its municipal declaration to a permanent operating certificate be approved. I'd like to bring that for a vote later in the meeting.
We can do it right now.
Whatever you like.
Yeah. All right, we need to do a roll call vote. Just yes, you're in favor, no, you're against. Les Freeman?
In favor.
Jim Regan?
In favor.
PJ Keeler?
In favor.
Dave Bettini?
Despite my aversion to being directed how to vote, I vote in favor.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yes.
Thank you. I'll vote in favor. Dale?
In favor.
James Vina?
In favor.
Chris?
In favor.
Mike Daly?
In favor.
Al Jagoda?
In favor.
Steve Kroll?
In favor.
Carol Brandt?
In favor.
Lynn Kane?
In favor.
Jim Stairs?
In favor.
EJ Cini?
In favor.
Steve Wetzloff?
In favor.
And Jeff Williams.
In favor.
Everyone voted in the affirmative, motion passes. Moving along. Executive Director's Report.
Hopefully everybody has a copy. Nothing of any major importance, like I mentioned in the executive board. No Ebola-related conferences, phone calls, meetings, etc. in at least a week now. So hopefully we've weathered that storm. Anything else? If anybody has a question, I'll be happy to answer them. And that's about it.
Any questions for Tim at the moment? Okay, moving along, Treasurer's Report.
There are no bills for payment tonight. We're still in a very strong financial position, which is good. We do have some extra cash laying around, which Steve Kroll has talked with RBC, our investment people, and we're going to make some suggestions as to what we need to do with that, or would like to do with that. So I don't know if you want to do that now or...
Well, if you're done, we'll just dovetail into finance.
Yep, the cash has been sitting in a drawer over there, and we decided it was time. We maintain an investment portfolio with RBC Wealth Management. Every year, our representative from RBC comes and meets with the executive committee and gives a presentation on our investments. And in September, our account executive, Jim Watkinson, came in. Our investment portfolio continues to be strong, perform well. However, we do keep some cash in that portfolio, meaning that RBC essentially acts like a savings account for us. We have a bank account with them where cash that comes out of investments goes into there and then can be reinvested or sit there. We do keep some liquidity in that cash so that always has the flexibility of drawing on that money should cash be needed during any particular time of year. However, our cash has crept up to about $80,000, which is a little bit higher than it normally is. And Jim has made the recommendation that we reinvest some of that cash in the market. At the executive committee, we considered his investment recommendations, and we're bringing forward a second motion that we take $20,000 out of the $80,000 in cash, and we invest in the energy sector. Given low oil prices right now, which we're all seeing at the pump, energy stocks are performing at a lower level than they will when gasoline prices and oil prices eventually go up again. So he would like to suggest that we invest in the energy sector. It would add some nice balance to our portfolio. So the second motion bring forward is that $20,000 be invested in energy stocks. Specifically, we have identified Phillips 66 and ExxonMobil as great potential for us. And that investment will be made in accordance with our normal stop loss policy, which will sell any investment should it have more than a 5% decrease on that. So that's our second motion for our motion.
Any questions for Steve on the motion? No? Okay. Seeing no questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Medical Director, MAC and Academic. Dr. Daly.
I have been all over the region discussing Ebola. Enough said. We've all heard enough about this at this point. Of particular note, at the next meeting, we'll be briefly reviewing some of the educational presentations and giving them to the academic committee so that they can be disseminated to any agencies that are interested in using them. Training on Haldol, ketamine, and norepinephrine, so that's available with the coming of the new protocols in January. And that's the report.
Thank you. Stadium as Council, when was the last meeting? I don't remember.
Next meeting is January 8th and 9th.
Okay. But while we're on the subject of EMS Council, our rep is no longer with us. He left us and ran away to the state. Last month I asked for people who are interested in being on the Remsco. Steve Kroll has submitted his resume for this. Is anyone else interested in possibly being selected for a position on the council, state council? Okay. Not seeing any other interest. Tim, if you could forward this to the state, I'd appreciate it. Nurses Committee?
Just as a caveat to that, I don't know that we need to have Steve have an alternate named this evening, but we actually placed ourselves in jeopardy by being in a position where Steve Rinaldi's resignation or departure from the area and obvious resignation from the council and the state council placed us without representation. So I think it's very important that we actually have an alternate at the point that we forward this to the state with Steve, and that Steve choose someone as a representative to serve as his alternate should he not be able to attend.
If I am selected, and of course there is a process to go through, I'd be glad to select an alternate from the council meeting.
You would know better than I. Isn't that something that has to occur in conjunction with your?
No.
We have to submit, we are required to submit 2 names for the state to choose from. So we have to submit 2 nominees, so we still need a second nominee. Once a nominee has been vetted by the governor's office and then selected and identified, the option exists for someone to select an alternate. It does not have to be that person. That was the second nomination, but could be. And it is up to each, there is no rule on how that the alternate does not have to go through the same vetting process, and the alternate does not vote. It simply represents the region at the meetings, can write a voice but not a vote. So once selected, we could go and select an alternate. And I know that we've had them in the past, even though I know that Steve may not have selected one during his time on council.
Yeah, I just say that out of experience. I served as Rich Brandt's alternate, and I don't know how long Rich actually served on that committee. If it was 10 years, I probably attended in his absence possibly twice. So his attendance was stellar, and it was not a demanding job to serve as alternate.
I'll make sure that if I'm selected, there is an alternate. And I'll work with the chair to select who the appropriate person is.
Perfect. Thank you. Nurses Committee?
We meet tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Perfect. MCI Committee?
No report.
Thank you. Membership?
I'm working with a couple of counties to replace members who have been unable to participate. And we'll have a more complete list in January.
Okay.
Should we tell them about what happened in the executive committee?
Well, of course, but it has to be approved by the.
Did you want me to tell them how we,
You're in charge of the membership committee.
Oh my gosh. All right, so, Mr. Kroll has changed employment, and he requested that he be allowed to stay an at-large member, but not to represent hospitals, and I made the motion, and I think PJ or Dave seconded it, and we voted, so he's now just a plain ordinary
Well,
everyday at-large.
it comes here as a second motion,
Okay,
and then the council approves it.
okay. So it's a seconded motion.
Second motion to change Steve's at-large status from the hospital representative to just a normal at-large member. Any questions about that from anyone? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
I would
Nominate-
ask if anyone has any ideas about who could take over the hospital.
Suggestions
I'm
are always
open to
welcome.
suggestions.
Nominating committee.
We hold elections at the January meeting, which is coming up in 2 short months. So if you're interested in running for an office, or if you want to nominate someone to run for an office, please let me know. I will send out an email when it gets closer to the time, just as a reminder. So open to all suggestions.
Thank you. QI committee, you? QI committee?
QI committee, we have a meeting next week, Wednesday.
Okay, thank you. Awards committee, there's not much going on there at the moment. So we'll go on to county reports. Albany County,
Nothing to report.
thank you. Columbia County,
We did not meet in November, we meet in December, so nothing to report.
thank you. Greene County,
Excuse me, wait, I've lost it here. We're moving forward with a historic amount of information with our task force. We will be presenting that to the legislator this month, and that's about it.
okay, thank you. Nobody's here from Ulster County. Saratoga County, no reports. Schenectady County,
No report either.
thank you. The next 2 items have already been taken care of. Normally, we take the December meeting off to enjoy the holidays. Does anybody wish to make a motion for that?
Make a motion.
Thank you, Lester. A second from Lynn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Any other business anybody'd like to bring up? Okay, seeing none, motion to adjourn by Lynn. Second, please.
I'll say.
Whoever put their hand up first. All those in favor?
Have a nice holiday.
Have a great holiday. Thank you all for coming tonight.